Okay. I'll call to order the city council meeting for April 29th, 2021. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Steve Cherney.
Here.
Kevin Kadada.
Here.
Tim Rude.
Here.
Cindy Fier.
Here.
And Scott Balava.
Okay, before we get going, just a reminder that the mask mandate by executive order of the governor is still in effect, so everybody is asked to wear their mask. If you're up to the podium to speak or something, then feel free to remove it. But then when you go sit down again, please reinstall it. On to approval of agenda. It goes through 10J tonight. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Councilman Kadada, second by Councilman Cherney. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of the minutes from the April 8th, 2021 regular meeting. Any additions, deletions, corrections to the minutes?
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Cherney,
Second.
second by Councilperson Fear. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have a couple of public hearings tonight. The first one's regards to the 2021 Street and Utility Improvement Project. I'll call to order this notice of hearing on improvement, 2021 Street and Utility Improvement Project. To whom it may concern, notice is hereby given that the Lonsdale City Council will meet in the City Council Chambers, 415 Central Street West, Lonsdale, Minnesota at 7 p.m. or shortly thereafter on Thursday, April 29, 2021 to consider the 2021 Street and Utility Reconstruction Project, an improvement of 3rd Avenue Southwest between Colorado Street Southwest to south of Florida Street Southwest right away, 4th Avenue Southwest between Colorado Street Southwest south to and including the cul-de-sac, Delaware Street Southwest between 4th Avenue Southwest and 2nd Avenue Southwest, Colorado Street Southwest between 3rd Avenue Southwest and 2nd Avenue Southwest, by the installation of water main, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, drain tile, grading, aggregate base, concrete curb and gutter, and bituminous paving pursuant to Minnesota State Statute, Section 429.011 to 429.111. The area proposed is to be assessed for such improvement is abutting and non-abutting properties benefited by the improvement. The estimated cost of the improvement is $1,985,343. A reasonable estimate of the impact of the assessment will be available at the hearing. In addition, a reasonable estimate of the total amount to be assessed and a description of the methodology used to calculate individual assessments for affected parcels will be available at the hearing. Such persons as desire to be heard with reference to the proposed improvement will be heard at this meeting. Joel Erickson, City Administrator. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. City Engineer will lead the public hearing, but the reason for the public hearing is that we're required to publish an advertisement of the public hearing in the paper twice. It was sent to the paper but not published. So in dealing with our bond counsel selling the bonds, we were required to have this hearing. It should be noted that everything that is being presented tonight is exactly the same as it was on, I believe, October 29th. So 6-7 months ago. And I guess with that, I'll turn it over to the city attorney.
Or engineer. So the presentation hasn't been changed at all for the date on the presentation, and I will go through this a little faster than I did the first time. General information and attendance here of the city administrator, public works director, and I go through the presentation. We don't have attendance cards and comments cards. We did at the original hearing, but if anybody has questions, they can certainly come testify and contact us. First purpose of the meeting is to explain the project location, improvements, costs, and preliminary assessments, and for property owners and non-property owners to ask questions, provide information. A feasibility report was prepared. Specific improvements are discussed prior to projects being ordered, and if the project proceeds, final assessment hearings are held. We've actually had that hearing on this project. So the history, back in 2006, there was a CIP, several projects were completed, and in 2020, we updated the pavement condition ratings throughout the city, and that helped us identify the project areas. This is the typical pavement deterioration model, which highlights the importance of maintaining the roadways with seal coat, mill and overlay prior to reconstruction. And if you look at the ratings on the left side, significant number of ratings down in the 20s and 30s, which means it's time for reconstruction. There's this image of recent projects, generally moving from east to west, and this year's project is no different. The project location was described in the announcement. It's 3rd Avenue and 4th Avenue from Colorado Street to the south, and Delaware from 2nd to 4th. Proposed improvements include replacement water main and services up to and including the curb stop, some minor sanitary sewer repairs, bituminous pavement reclamation, complete street reconstruction, which includes the sand subsection and drain tile. We're replacing all the storm sewer structures, including catch basins and manholes, and curb and gutter will be placed. New concrete curb and gutter will be placed. There's the typical section showing the new curb and gutter. The existing widths of the roadway are being maintained, so there's no change to the roadway width. That's the typical section, which includes the granular barrow and the geotextile. Water main is shown highlighted in blue. The water main is being replaced throughout the project area. The reason that we have the green area highlighted is because 2 years worth of projects were completed in one feasibility report, so that's why we're outlining the 2021 project in green. There is no new storm sewer on Delaware from 4th and Delaware to 3rd. Other than that, it's structure replacement and drain tile. Minor sanitary sewer repairs. I think there's 3 or 4 isolated areas on this year's project that will be doing repairs. Here's a summary of the project costs at the time. Primarily, this is a water main and street reconstruction project that's reflected in the estimated costs. There are no alley improvements on this year's project. Construction subtotal as of the feasibility report was about 1.7 million, and indirect costs we assume 18%, so we have a total estimated project cost of about 1.9 plus million. This includes estimating unit prices, a contingency at the time, the 18% that I referred to. Financing is via issuance of GO bonds, paid for by assessments to benefiting properties. There's a general property tax levy for debt service, and then enterprise funds pay for water and sewer. Proposed assessment area is the area in yellow that's outlined by green with the 2021. Primarily residential type assessments. We only have one property in the 2021 project that's non-residential, non-single family residential. The single family residential rate is $14,000 per single family unit. The commercial rate $244.80 per front foot. That was an increase from past projects, and we used the Engineering News Record Construction Cost Index as a guide to update the assessments and value of the construction. There's an amortization schedule. Most of the properties will be on the left schedule. We only have one property where the right schedule applies. Assessments are over 15 years. There are deferral options. Interest accrues until payment, cannot be deferred longer than 30 years. And there's requirements about no interest being paid if paid within 30 days of the assessment hearing, which has already been held, and the first payment is with the 2022 property taxes. There was the proposed timeline back in October. Right now we're at begin construction down in mid-May, but we've actually exceeded our schedule. They started a week plus ago, and this week they actually installed most of the water main on 4th. They have a little bit to complete at the intersection with Delaware, but the water main itself has mostly been replaced on 4th. There's the contact information, if anybody has questions. With that, I'll respond to any new questions or comments.
Okay, is there anybody off the floor that cares to speak in regards to this public hearing? Questions? Andrew?
Is that also for 115 Railroad Street? The proposal for 2021? For the 2022?
Go ahead. Go ahead, you can.
Mayor and City Council members, this is what the information I presented was just for the 2021 project. So we'll be updating that information for the 2022 project. We'll have a separate hearing for that.
Okay, any other questions, comments in regards to the public hearing for the street improvement? Is there any calls or anything written to City Hall?
There was none, Mayor.
Okay. Last call.
Move we close this public hearing.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second.
second by Councilperson Fewer. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This hearing is closed. On to another hearing for conditional use permit for outside patio seating at 115 Railway Street Southwest. I'll call to order this conditional use permit hearing. Notice of public hearing, Laws of Minnesota, conditional use permit. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held before the Lawrenceville City Council on Thursday, April 29th, 2021 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter at Lawrenceville City Hall, 415 Central Street West, to review a conditional use permit application for outside seating at Smoke Restaurant, 115 Railway Street Southwest. A copy of the application along with the site plan showing the location of the outside seating area is available for review at City Hall during regular office hours. This hearing is an opportunity for the public to make comments regarding the proposed conditional use permit. Written comments should be received no later than April 21st, 2021 at Lawrenceville City Hall, 415 Central Street West, P.O. Box 357, Lawrenceville, Minnesota 55046. For additional information, please contact the city planner at 507-744-2327, B. Baker at lonsdalemin.com, or visit City Hall at the above address. Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. The subject property is 115 Railway Street Southwest. It is located on 2 lots from the original town, and then also 2 parcels. This would be the eastern parcel. The whole property is 1/3 of an acre. Property owner is Smoke LLC and the applicant is Andrew Rasmussen. A land use permit has been submitted for a conditional use permit to allow for outside seating dining area on the east side of the building. Some details on the outside seating area are it would be 30 by 24 or 720 square feet. For comparison, a nearby restaurant has 620 square feet outside at Whistle Stop. The occupancy proposed would be 24 occupancy. 44 is currently what is inside the building. The outdoor seating area will have black ornamental fencing. There is an example attached with a gate on the north side. Rope lighting is proposed to be placed along the fence. No other additional lighting is proposed at this time. No outside speakers are being proposed. The area east of the building, where the seating area is proposed, is currently paved and was at one time used as a drive-through aisle. There is no off-street parking that's currently happening in this spot. Just to note, there will be no direct access through a door either to or from the main building to the outside seating area. They will have to go on the north side of the building and then enter on the west. There will be a partial access through that old drive-through aisle though that they can still use. Tonight is a public hearing and consideration of approval of the conditional use permit. The zoning is B2, Highway and Business Service District. Restaurants are permitted. Outdoor and seating area is listed as a conditional use, thus the conditional use permit application. Performance standards, there's B2 performance standards in regards to noise and having activities outside the building with a conditional use permit. The Planning Commission did take a look at this application request at their April 19th meeting and did recommend approval of CUP 2021-01, and that is attached, so you can see we have the main parcel, the eastern parcel is where the subject property is located, and then a little sketch plan of where the outside seating area will be, the ornamental fence. Andrew did a good job of answering the questions that we had for him, and that's listed there as the attachment. And then the conditional use permit. So the conditions of the conditional use permit would be, as far as liquor goes, no liquor may be served within the outside seating area without a amended liquor license, which is coming up later in the meeting. Hours of operation would be would be closed from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Fencing, again, the black ornamental fence. For the building official is with any expansion to the occupancy does need to have a restroom. Noise levels coming from the subject property, including the outside seating area, shall not cause a nuisance and comply with the noise standards. And then the same with lighting, not cause a nuisance for neighboring properties and comply with the standards of the city. So with that, there's just a survey that shows where the outside seating area is, and I guess it would be staff's and the planning commission's recommendation to approve, but that would be coming up later after the public hearing. The applicant is here tonight.
Okay, is there any comments off the floor? Anybody in regards to this? Anybody? Have we received any calls or correspondence at City Hall?
No, we have not.
Anybody? Last call.
Move to close this public hearing.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Presentation of citizens' petition and comments. Comments limited to 2 minutes. So if you're not on the agenda tonight, now's your opportunity to speak. On to the consent agenda, a number of items tonight. The monthly bills, treasurer's report, board and commission minutes. Consider approval of a sewer rate adjustment for a property located at 821 Arizona Street Northwest. Consider approval of a Minnesota lawful gambling LG 220 application for exempt permit with no waiting period submitted by the Knights of Columbus Council 16225. Consider approval to accept Brett Marshall's letter of resignation from the Lawrenceville Fire Department. Consider approval to accept Todd Gramley's letter of resignation from the Lawrenceville Fire Department. And consider approval to authorize staff to advertise for 3 firefighters. Would anybody like any of those items pulled for discussion?
Okay, Mayor, I just, one note on the consent agenda. I have been working with the Knights of Columbus, and they have changed the date of their drawing from, I believe they had August 1st on their application, to September 10th.
Okay. When is it? Nothing?
And will we approve the amended consent agenda?
Second that.
Motion by Councilman Kadada, second by Councilman Cherney. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There is no old business. On to new business. Consider approval of resolution 2021-29, a resolution ordering the improvement of the 2021 street and utility improvement project. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. While the public hearing for this resolution was held earlier in the meeting, it was the same presentation that was given back in October. by approving the resolution, the council is declaring the projects necessary to improve upon the existing streets and utilities, ordering such improvement as proposed in the feasibility study, declaring the proposed improvements have no relation to the city's comprehensive plan. WSB is designated as the project engineer and shall continue with preparation of the plans and specifications. And then finally, the city council is declaring its intent to reimburse itself for the cost of the improvement from the proceeds of tax exempt bonds. Again, with the exception of the date of approval, this is the same resolution that was presented back at the October 29th city council meeting. I guess unless there's any questions, staff would make a recommendation to approve resolution 2021-29.
Motion to approve, Your Honor.
Motion by Councilman Cherney,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fear. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of conditional use permit 2021-01, a conditional use permit allowing for outdoor seating / patio at 115 Railway Street Southwest. Mr. Baker.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. We just had our public hearing for a 24 by 30 outdoor seating area in the B2 district at 115 Railway Street. Like I mentioned earlier, it would be city staff's and the planning commission's recommendation to approve the CUP per the conditions listed on the CUP. And I shall note that we are in the process of getting an application in, so probably next month for the planning commission and council, you'll see proposed addition to the building for a vestibule and restrooms, permanent. So that would satisfy that condition.
I have a question, Your Honor.
Sure.
Ben, was there any consideration regarding the fencing? We've had fencing, for instance, on that storage shed that went in there by Scotty's place, the Auto Works, where we had that black mesh so that people could with additional screening. Is there any consideration given to putting that type of material along that black fence? The reason I say that, we have that same fence on our property at our house, and I actually, for screening purposes, would fill that within that black, so it makes it not so transparent, because you can still see through that black fence. And so I don't know if that's appropriate for that area, but there is a backyard there, and just having the fence there, it isn't visually screening, it's just a fence. And so, I don't know if that was talked about at all.
Mainly it was just a barrier, kind of a physical barrier for the outside seating area. There wasn't any screening necessarily talked about.
Do you think that's necessary then?
I don't know. It may help with light, but all he's doing is proposing rope light. The fence isn't going to be that tall, so you'll still be able to see over it.
That would be an option we could have to discuss, take a look at it, and bring it back, right?
Yeah, we could see how it's going, I guess.
That sounds reasonable.
Sure.
And then also I wanted to ask, Andrew, is that property contract for deed right
Correct.
now? Does that play into the conditional use permit at all then? As far as
It'll get recorded against the land, so.
It will.
Yep.
period, okay, good. And then Andrew, it was mentioned 10 to 7 for that outside, you're closed at 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Is that right?
10 to 11.
What,
They open 11 o'clock.
11 to 10, right.
I'm talking the hours of closure.
Yeah,
Oh,
It closes at 10 p.m. at night?
correct.
And then till 7 a.m.?
11.
11.
Oh, it's
We open
11.
back up at
I
11.
thought it said 7.
It says 7
They
in
have,
here.
well, they have the choice to open earlier if they want.
We will never be a breakfast place,
Yeah.
so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, well, okay.
All it's saying is
I'll go
that-
and never say never, but
Now, be careful, we could use a breakfast place here. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that then, before. And then, let's see, the liquor license, that's coming in a separate item, right?
Correct.
Okay, then that's all I have here.
okay.
are there any other conditional use permits attached to this property?
We have looked at that over the last couple of weeks. There isn't not any that we have found.
Okay. I assume this is quite similar to the existing of like Whistle Stop or something, so.
Yeah, Whistle Stop is zoned a little different, but it's gonna be exactly very similar in look.
Make a motion to approve, Your Honor.
Motion by Councilman Cherney,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fear. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of a liquor license amendment requested by Smoke LLC. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. Well, the reason for the public hearing and conditional use permit was to allow Smoke to, the opportunity to amend their liquor license. The fence essentially is not necessarily for screening, but for containment of alcohol. So that was the main reason for that. They currently have a liquor license for when, for inside their building. When an applicant applies for a liquor license, your liquor license is only qualifies the interior of the building. So anytime that someone wants to put a patio on, it has to clearly be identified in their liquor license application, as well as documented on their certificate of liability insurance. So Mr. Rasmussen has went through the conditional use permit process and has the current liquor license, which does expire here at the end of June, so renewals will be coming out. But he has provided the conditional use permit, obviously, and then the site plan, and then also a certificate of liquor liability, which clearly describes the location and size of the proposed outside patio. So with that, staff would make a recommendation to approve the liquor license amendment requested by Smoke LLC to include the 24 by 30 enclosed outside patio.
I have a couple things. It kind of builds on what Councilman Cherney said, but now the outside porta potty, which is great, I mean, will it be, you know, the visual, I mean, will it be kind of protected or someplace screened, or how is that being handled?
I think the goal would be is to try to get that permanent restroom up as soon as possible.
Right.
So hopefully
But-
there won't have to be one or be one there very long.
Okay, is that, I mean, is it like this year, or is it years, or do anybody know? Or- I guess my point is, it should be, you know what I'm saying, that's kind of,
You want me to come up?
if you want to, sure. And you can take your mask down when you're talking.
These cloth ones for me
Yeah.
to breathe. So the idea with that would be, I personally, like, out of respect for our neighbors, you know, porta potties, they stink. They're visually, aesthetically just displeasing. I feel that, you know, out of respect for our guests too, the utilization of a porta potty isn't necessarily ideal in the atmosphere that we would want to convey to our guests. We want them to be comfortable. I feel that porta potties in general don't have that feel.
Right.
So with that being said, kind of like a contingency of having the vestibule bathroom finished late spring, early summer, and not.
This year?
Yes.
So
Not.
I guess, you know, I understand, I guess just in the interim though, can it be, I don't know if it's screened, or is it behind the building, or is it someplace where it's, you know, I know it's probably pretty limited, you know, but is there something you can do, or? You know,
I would like to propose the fact that we would not have one, in the idea of, you know, with the fact that, with the COVID, we went from 50 to 75% capacity. That didn't matter for us at all in regards to, we still have to keep 6 feet and of space, and so it didn't do anything for our inside seating. And so the idea, for as it is right now, is to propose the fact that with the additional outside seating, at that point, we will finally be able to reach our 44-person occupancy load.
Right.
And then, with that being said, if we just stay under the 44% capacity, or 44-person, 100% capacity, we will not need an additional bathroom.
I see.
In the
Okay.
interim.
So you feel you have enough capacity currently for a bathroom?
We have, yes, we,
Okay.
under compliance of the building inspector's 44-person
Sure.
occupancy load. The idea is to have the outside have as far as like being able to reach the 100% capacity
Right.
without going over capacity.
I guess all I was trying to say is if you do elect to have an outside satellite, that it would be sheltered or, you know, it's just not sitting right on County Road 4 is all I'm saying. You know, that's all I.
Like I said, out of respect for our neighbors, you know, I feel that we have a very strong relationship with the people that surround
Sure.
Smoke, and although all of the residents, you know, they love having us there.
Yeah.
I feel that they're very friendly to us, and you know, as far as like the riffraff, you know, the late night crowd, that's absolutely not our jam at all. You know,
Yeah.
but honestly, you know, Friday, Saturday nights, it's completely dead by 9.
Yeah. And you know, and it's just, it's great that you're there. I'm just, you know, like you say, it sounds like you're pretty cognizant of the neighbors' concerns, and you respect their, you know, their properties and stuff. Because, you know, typically it would just be the noise would typically be your most, you know, maybe Jason could talk on that, but typically noise is your biggest complaint.
Mhm.
You know, and it sounds like you kind of monitor that, and it's not
Mhm.
late night anyway, so it's.
Right,
you know.
right. That's not our business model, to
Yeah.
be open late. And then also, hence the reason why we don't have any outdoor music too,
Yeah.
is out of respect for our neighbors as well.
Right, okay.
Are we done?
No,
Did
go
you
ahead.
have two items?
Go ahead, that's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Andrew, let me cut through what I think I'm hearing. So you're gonna come before us and you're gonna request that approval through the planning process, formal process, to add a vestibule bathroom, a permanent to your building, is that correct?
Correct.
And that would be completed probably by what date? June
Um,
1st? I don't know. August 1st?
I'm not, so this is out of my realm, out of my control.
Okay,
All I-
assuming that we can
all-
approve it by.
There you go.
Okay, let's assume that we're
Right.
all in favor of that. Here's
Okay.
where I'm going with this
Yeah.
thing. Mayor makes a great point about having a porta potty. I hate porta potties. They should only be there on a very temporary basis for a particular venue. We're not talking about that here. We're talking about having it there, but you're also talking about permanent bathrooms. Could you get by with your inside bathroom if we approved you to do that?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He
Is
can't-
that what you're saying?
That's what he said, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I wasn't,
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
right, yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So, right now, as you understand it, then you don't have to have an outside porta potty, you can handle it.
No.
And then, but you are gonna come before us, and hopefully we'll get approved permanent bathrooms.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no, and just
Okay.
by the staff report, it said, you know, he may consider an outside porta potty was
Right.
all we were
Well, I
looking at.
just-
That just,
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I wanted to open in May.
Yeah.
We opened it in September.
Okay.
And, you know, so, and that was,
You're ahead of the game, just stop.
you know,
Okay.
you know, it's
All right.
contingent on.
no, it's all, I mean,
Yeah, that's
you
good.
know, materials and.
I have the ball rolling with the architect already. He
Okay.
drafted some preliminary designs for Ben for this proposal, and he's well aware of you know, moving forward with it. And he had a meeting with his boss and stuff, and so I hope to have blueprints and everything drafted within the next week or two, and get the ball rolling. You know, we have a lot of projects ahead. You know, we have May 10th, we're starting a new roof, which is really exciting for us. And, you know, ideally, you know, late spring, early middle summer, ideally. You know, I'm not a builder, I'm not a construction worker, I'm a
Right,
cook.
just think that
You know,
out,
it's
so,
it's the availability of the materials, you know, for these projects and stuff like that. So, you know, the idea of the vestibule bathroom, it would be the same exact materials used on the inside, on the outside, same exact look, same exact feel.
Are you considering any curb cut, different entrance at all, since you're gonna put a vestibule out front?
Possibly. I haven't that's not in the works yet. I haven't really.
Does that mean jam it up if you're gonna go, you know, by your front door and going out there, maybe skinny that down? So
Yep.
you might wanna consider that,
Yep.
cut that curb back a little bit.
Yep, you're right.
Open it up a little bit.
Yeah. It's, I mean, the parking lot's a disaster the way it is,
Right.
you know, and the, you know, bless our guests in these regards, you know, they're very comfortable parking in the street, and there's tons of public
I just throw
parking
it
in
out
those
there as
regards.
something that might
Mhm.
come up with the planning
Sure.
commission. Kevin sets down there.
If,
Concrete.
the issue with moving the curb is, you know, we have very limited parking the way it is.
Right.
And if we end up moving the curb over, further west, we're gonna be taking out, you know, 3-4 parking spots the way it is,
Okay.
as opposed to, you know, I mean, I think we can only have like probably 10 parking spots, and if we do that, then it's gonna be 8.
That's a little farther down the path.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just kind of focus on
Yep.
tonight there, but.
All right.
Is there any other questions? Okay. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Kadada to approve a liquor license amendment. Request by Smoke.
Second.
Second by Councilperson Ferrer. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you.
Consider approval of resolution 2021-30, a resolution authorizing issuance, awarding sale, prescribing the form and details, and providing for payment of $1,725,000 general obligation improvement bond series 2021B. Mr. Jarrett?
Thank you, Mayor, and members of the council. Unfortunately, Paul Donna was not able to make the meeting tonight. So we'll kind of look back on past information that he had provided. At the March 25th meeting, the council approved resolution 2021-19, which approved the sale of the bonds in the not-to-exceed amount of $1,875,000 with a true interest cost of not to exceed 2.25. Staff worked with Mr. Donna Baird on the sale, provided Standards and Poor's with financial information to conduct our bond rating, which they reaffirmed our AA- stable rating. And then also Dorsey and Whitney, our bond counsel, has provided the necessary legal documents. Quick summary of the sale. The amount of the bonds sold was $1,725,000. That was less than initially anticipated. We received just over $102,000 in premium from the bond purchasers in exchange for a higher interest rate. Amortization is 15 years. The true interest rate was 1.65. The all-in, which accounts for interest rate and the cost of borrowing, or issuance, excuse me, was 1.81%. It's a call date of February 1st, 2028. That allows the city to prepay all or a portion of the remaining principal with no penalty. Again, our bond rating remains stable at AA-. The cost of issuance was just over $49,000. And then due to the timing of the issuance and the first 2 debt service interest payments in 21 and 22, we're required to contribute just over $22,000 to the project's debt service fund. The funds used to make that payment will be the prepaid assessments that we've received so far to date. By approving the proposed resolution, the council's ratifying resolution 2021-19 with the final terms of the bond sale at $1,725,000 and all in true interest cost or interest rate 1.81. We're required to establish a construction fund and also a bond fund, and then the city is pledging its full faith, credit, and taxing authority for the prompt and full payment of the principal and interest payments. The total cost to the city is $2,050,542.92, all of which is funded by property tax levy, special assessments, and water and sewer revenue for the next 15 years. With the resolution approved at the March 25th meeting, The bond sale has happened. And then the attachments are the proposed resolution, and then the final information on the Series 2021D bonds. I guess if the council has any questions, we can answer them at this time.
Questions, anyone? I'm good with it?
Paid for it somehow, right?
And the interest rate is better than it's been, so that's,
Yeah,
A
yeah, it
bonus.
really is.
Motion to approve that.
Motion by Councilman Cherney,
second?
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of Resolution 2021-31, a resolution authorizing issuance, awarding sale, prescribing the form and details, and providing for payment of $700,000. General obligation improvement refunding bonds, Series 2021C. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Again, this resolution, or back at the March 25th meeting, the council approved Resolution 2021-20, which approved the sale of bonds not to exceed $750,000 and a true interest cost of 1.5%. Again, we worked with Mr. Don of Baird, Standard & Poor's on the bond rating, and Dorsey Whitney as our bond counsel. Quick summary of the sale. The amount of the bonds is $700,000. Again, due to investors wanting a higher interest rate, we received a premium payment of $33,512. In this case, what that, again, just like the last bond sale, we were able to use that premium to reduce the amount of funds that we borrowed. 7-year amortization, true interest cost of 1.11, all-in tick of 1.61. There is no call date on these bonds. They're refunding bonds or refinance bonds, so we actually are calling the 2012 A bonds. Again, AA minus rating. Cost of issuance was just under $24,000. By approving the resolution, council is approving the final terms of the sale: $700,000 in principal, 1.61 all-in tick cost, and again pledging the full faith, credit, and taxing authority for the prompt and full payment of the principal and interest payments. The total cost of the debt service is $752,000, which will be payable by property tax levy, special assessments, and water sewer revenue over the next 7 years. The purpose of issuing these bonds was to refund the 2012 A bonds, which were used to finance the 2nd and 3rd Avenue Northwest Street project. And by doing so, the city is realizing a present value savings of over $20,000. Attached is a proposed resolution and then the financing information for the 2021 C bonds.
I think it's definitely worthwhile doing that to save a little bit of money. I move we approve.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second?
second by Councilperson Fuhr. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of Resolution 2021-32, a resolution of sponsorship of the Lonsdale Snow Wizards. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This is an annual resolution presented to and adopted by the city council. This is to be a sponsor of the Lonsdale Snow Wizards, our local snowmobile club. For them to receive grant funding, they have to have a local government entity agree to be their sponsor. We are essentially a pay agent. There's 4 draws made each year at kind of phases throughout the snowmobile season or the winter months. So what happens is the Snow Wizards make a request. We submit it to the DNR. The DNR makes payment to us. We in turn make the payment to the Snow Wizards. And they, like I said, they are required to be sponsored by a local unit of government. Staff would recommend approval of Resolution 2021-32.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second.
second by Councilman Cherney. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consider approval of a proposal in the amount of $20,350 submitted by Clark for the 2021 mosquito control management services. Mr. Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The city council approved the RFP for mosquito control at the March 25th meeting. The RFP requested quotes for 22 essentially weekly treatments of the synthetic pre-thyroid Biomist 4x4. And then also we added this last year larvicide treatment of surface water, which lasts all season, 6 months, and is all natural organic. Staff sent the RFP to 3 companies that do or have provided this service in the past. Typically no more than 2 companies submit a proposal. This year we had, the only proposal submitted was from Clark. They actually added the all-natural or adulticiding. What was on the requested by the city was the weekly treatments of the synthetic pre-thyroid. Their proposal came in at $25,850. All-natural or organic came in at just under $60,000. And then the larvicide treatment for surface water is $2,500. Clark has provided this service to the city in the past and most recently the last 2 years. The vast and overwhelming majority of residents are very happy that the city treats for mosquitoes. In regards to fiscal impact, $29,000 was budgeted this year for this service. For comparison, the last 2 years we spent $16,500 and then $24,000. So the cost continues to increase. I guess it should be noted that $16,500 did not include the adulticiding, the 6-month water treatment. Alternatives would be to not provide mosquito control, do not provide the seasonal larvicide treatment of surface water, or use an all-natural organic treatment at a cost of just under $60,000. Included with the staff report is the RFP and then Clark's 2021 proposal.
I think it's actually a huge asset to the community that we can actually stay out later,
Right.
especially
Well.
with the COVID restrictions. Hopefully those will be lifting soon too. But
Right, that's right.
I just wanted to get the date that we were going to start, but on or about May 18th, something like that. It's typically I think Labor Day is late this year, but it's typically like the week or two before Labor Day.
I was just gonna say, if you'd request prior to the chamber event, isn't that the 20th?
Or is it the 13th?
Yeah.
I think it's the 13th, but I'm not
Where's the
exactly sure.
we
now.
beginning Tuesday, May 18th.
Yeah, when is the chamber event?
They're doing the 20th.
Right. I guess that's my point, if you could spray prior to that.
So we kind of be in that area, 8th Avenue and 5th
Right.
Street and Baldwin on the west side.
Right. Okay,
I move to approve a quote from Clark Mosquito Control for $28,350.
motion by Councilperson Führer,
second.
second by Councilman Kadada. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of resolution 2021-33, a resolution proclaiming April 30th, 2021 as Arbor Day in Lonsdale. Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mayor Rude. About this time every year, we are talking trees and Arbor Day and Tree City USA. Lonsdale was recently notified by the Arbor Day Foundation that it achieved the status of Tree City USA again for the 11th year in a row. First year was in 2009. The criteria are those 4 points there, having a tree or tree board / park board, a tree care ordinance, an annual community forestry budget of at least $2 per capita, which is a little over $8,000 for Lonsdale, and then an observation or proclamation for Arbor Day. Due to COVID-19 health pandemic, the city of Lonsdale will again not be holding an Arbor Day event this year. However, the city urges all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day on their own by planting or caring for a tree. Attached is the proclamation for tomorrow, which would be Arbor Day in Lonsdale, the forest standards, and then an email from our DNR saying what we can do in lieu of a observation or celebration, which was in the newspaper this week. And then the letter from the Arbor Day Foundation. And with that, I guess city staff would recommend approval of the proclamation and resolution 2021-33.
I suppose just to be official, we could just do a quick read of the proclamation, and the city council can approve it. I think we've done that in the past. Resolution proclaiming April 30th as Arbor Day in the city of Lonsdale, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of our business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of Lonsdale, Minnesota, that the Lonsdale City Council hereby proclaims Friday, April 30th, 2021 as Arbor Day in the city of Lonsdale. The council urges all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. The council also urges all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Okay, I entertain a motion to accept this proclamation.
The program, I'm glad we're in it. Nice we could actually have an in-person one again. I move we approve the proclamation.
I would second that being from Nebraska. I've been at J. Sterling Morton College.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Motion by Councilman Kadada, second by Councilman Cherney. Any further discussion? I just do want to give a big shout out to Ben for all the, how many years is this now? Is this
11.
11 years. All the programs you've done in the past, and you know, it's unfortunate with this pandemic because it was really a pretty educational program for the students at the school there and stuff and all that. So anyway, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Adopted by the City Council of the City of Lonsdale, Minnesota on this 29th day of April 2021. Yeah, really a cool program. You still get the little banners or little put on the...
Yeah, upstairs.
Yeah, good. Consider approval of a proposal in the not to exceed amount of $30,000 submitted by Ritter & Ritter for sanitary sewer manhole sealing. Mr. Vlasek.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, this is an annual expense we budget for. We budgeted $30,000 for sealing manholes to keep our I&I under attack. There was 3 submittals. Ritter & Ritter is a low bidder. They're projecting to seal 50 manholes this year and not to exceed $30,000 budget amount. Do you have any other questions?
Product that they're using, one's using a grout, one would be using a foam.
They're comparable.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
One brand to another brand.
Got it.
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Cherney,
Second.
second by Councilperson Fuhrer. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of Resolution 2021-34, a resolution accepting a bid for the Industrial Park Drive Southeast Mill and Overlay Project. Mr. Powell.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. As part of the 2021 pavement maintenance program, bid documents were prepared for a mill and overlay on Industrial Park Drive. From Industrial Drive to the curve, there's an exhibit attached to the staff report showing the work area. Last year, deep pavement repairs were completed in this area, including some addition of drain tile and spots. Based on the estimated cost, the city was not required to publish an ad for bid. Instead, a request for bids was forwarded to 7 contractors that specialize in this type of work. Bids were due 2 p.m. April 26, and 2 contractors submitted bids. McNamara Contracting in the amount of $45,295, and Valley Paving in the amount of $48,739.20. Engineer's estimate was $51,410. The bid documents require that all work be substantially complete by July 16th. Difference between the low bid and the estimate is $6,115, so about 12% under. When I estimate projects like this, sometimes I do up the unit prices a little bit because it is a smaller job, and we were pleasantly surprised that we got very competitive mixed prices on this project. We do believe the bid amount accurately reflects the value of the work to be performed. McNamara has successfully completed similar projects for the city in the past. So $74,000 was budgeted for this work, including construction, engineering, and other costs, and the bid amount is consistent with the budget expectations. Staff's recommendation is to approve a motion to receive the bids and award a construction contract for the Industrial Park Drive Mill and Overlay to McNamara Contracting for a contract amount of $45,295.
And I see in here, the city maintains the millings, we get the millings, do we plan for those? Dog park? Parking
Probably
area?
DRS.
Okay. You have some extra, the dog park could use some too.
That part's actually pretty good now, we just gotta get things moved so it drains.
Yep,
There was a hump in the middle and we couldn't get it to drain.
good, good,
Starting to turn around.
perfect. I move to approve.
Motion by Councilman Kadada,
Second?
second by Councilperson Pierre. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. That concludes the planned agenda. Mr. Vlasak, anything else?
Just update you on some of the projects for this year. Drain tile is going in on Willow Creek Drive. Bids are coming in for 3 projects that are back on. I do have bids for Dogwood. One bid I'm going to talk to McNamara and see if I can get another quote for doing work on Dogwood Street. So a lot of the projects are in process. I want to get started after we bring in this one. All fields are busy, getting busy, soccer fields are up and running, and the project at Richard Park will start next week.
Good, good deal. Thank you, sir. Mr. Powell.
And if the Public Works Director weren't busy enough, he's also has his hands full with the 2021 project and coordinating shutdowns and things like that. So that project, the 2021 project, is moving along well. The water main is installed on 4th from the south end up to just south of the intersection with Delaware. The north of Delaware and that on the west side are connected. So next Monday, they'll finish the work at the intersection and start going east on Delaware. Making good progress on the project, and hopefully weather holds out. We did have a pre-construction meeting on the Trichka Park parking lot and walkway project. That's Crane Creek Asphalt doing that. Their subcontractor expects to be in on Monday to do the catch basin and storm sewer work, and then Crane Creek will follow up with the parking lot grading and prepping that for the concrete work. So things are moving along.
One thing I'd add too is the water tower was inspected on Wednesday, and the first day, so we should be back online on the tower on Saturday morning, hopefully. No pressure because the tower's offline. Pretty early and a lot of stuff moving.
Yeah.
That probably means it'll be freeze out by September 15th.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Mr. Erickson.
Well, started the last that I saw, just under, well, it was 480,000 was allocated. So he's gonna send me a proposal for, the business park on there. This is, kind of the city in general, getting familiar with Lonsdale. Kind of a spur of the moment thing, but
Mr. Baker.
Joel had a good idea of we have a vacancy in the park board, so he put that on Facebook. And we're gonna see if we get any responses that way. And software, we've been working on that, so it's ones where you can for it and then it gets issued back to you. We have been working to get the fence taken down along County Road 2. Working out.
Yes, I have some things. Let's see, first of all, the Bryce County Republicans tonight over the next few months, field questions as well as people from Faribault, our own community. Last week, a day notice that was needed to the board. We'll have an opportunity for another to the library board. And so we'll be, go through the proper channels and the application through Joel's office and the library will be opening normal hours. They don't have them in Marguerite's. Very excited about that. We've had meetings in person. Our meeting room is back now. It was lent out to the senior citizens. Let's see. What else? The money, relief money, I already talked about that. I asked Joel about pretty soon as far as the result of that. The council, if they consider our meetings coming up are at 7 a.m. at 7 or for
Again, the Facebook night hours. And she was very good to have on there, so.
Sure.
But we just had some updates, it was myself and we had some updates from Ben and nothing major there. After that, we had a planning and zoning meeting. We're gonna be looking at the flag ordinances and signs and that over the next few meetings, the way it looks. Sounds like there's some different, this last political cycle had a bunch of negative signs and
Yeah.
slander and profanities, and I think there's been different cities and different organizations that have lost cases, so we're trying to see if our ordinance needs to be amended at all. We had the smoke outdoor seating we had talked about, and we also had a request to sell some property as a city for an outlot. The planning and zoning decided to leave that as is.
Okay.
Well, that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thanks. Councilperson Fuhrer.
The EDA met last week, or actually 2 weeks ago. I was not able to attend, so I cannot give any kind of an update on it. I was hoping Scott would be here to step in, but maybe Joel can provide some info.
Sure. It was a lot of updates. The BRE is on hold until July when the U of M extension is able to meet in person. But since then, we did the lunch and learn. The EDA will be participating in the next one, June 10th, I believe it is. Some of the survey results showed that businesses were interested in learning more about energy savings, rebates. So we're going to have our utility providers there giving a presentation on what their offerings are for energy efficiency savings. What else did we go over? I don't think it was that long of a meeting. We talked sign ordinance about off-premise signs. There wasn't much direction given at that, so I think they're not allowed with the exception of city council approval. So I think at the staff level, we're going to come up with some parameters to present to the planning commission and city council. What else was talked about? How to better communicate with residents creating, or businesses creating some type of, and I'm working with the chamber on this, inclusive list with, businesses, addresses for mailing, emails, owners. I think that was about it. So,
Good.
we barely had a quorum.
Yeah. And advisory boards, we're probably fortunate to
People.
have the people we have on here.
Yeah, people get busy and very seldom does
I
that.
seen one
does that
city I
happen.
thought had, I mean, they had vacancies, they must have had 8 vacancies,
Yeah.
you know, so it's good that we have people that step up. Just a few things, I do wanna give a shout out to the parks, I think they actually look pretty good for this time of year, you know, all the parks actually, it's really cool to see the kids and the families, you know, utilize the park system and the paths and all. Are the paths holding up pretty well?
That's gonna be a big topic this year on budgeting, is our path. Try to figure out what we wanna do. I don't know if it makes sense to overlay because of the cracking in them. Maybe one of these that I want to talk to John about that. You know, when you replace them, and maybe paving over what's there.
It's unfortunate with all this grant money going around for all these things and stimulus, all this kind of stuff, you can't use it for rec or, you know, right? You know, but anyway, I think they look really good. Also then, I just want to give a big shout out to the chamber again, Shannon, and all the work at May 20th is the street fair, of course, and, I think, Joe maybe will touch on this a little bit, but I think, the impending groundbreaking of the police station, I think is gonna be, probably within the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so I forgot to bring that up. I've been working with Wold on start of construction. They're anticipating May 24th. We've got our pre-con tentatively scheduled for the Wednesday before the 19th, I believe. And then, I had forgotten I was going to bring this up at the end. Looking at a date for groundbreaking, just trying to be cognizant of everyone's schedule, if it would work, before the next council meeting at 6 to do a 30-minute groundbreaking, or however long it would take, just before the council meeting, or if that doesn't work, if it's a different day.
We can try, I mean, will that work for you? Why don't you say that you still got a few gold shovels around, I assume, or some of that from?
Yeah,
It's been a
we're
long time
coordinating
since we
with,
did that, anything
Right.
like that, actually.
Grab
coordinating
some
with the
spray can, we'll get
contractor
it done.
to,
There you go.
to provide that information,
So
or
should,
that,
just
those
for the
items.
council, we'll leave it tentative at, May 13th at 6 PM? And just meet at the site?
Correct, yes.
Maybe you'll just send an email reminder.
I'll send out a reminder email.
Okay, but yeah, things are still moving along here in town, I will say that. Hopefully next month or so, we'll have some, stuff in writing on the business park lots too.
Yeah.
Kinda cool to get them wrapped up, so. Anyway, that's all I have.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion by Councilperson Fear,
Second.
second by Councilman Kadada. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This meeting's adjourned.